Welcome back. We are here discussing a topic that affects every household and a topic that is new to a lot of us because technology and being able to access material online is such a new thing, considering we've lived for many centuries, and finally we're here with this place that you can go into a rabbit hole. If you don't stop, you will find yourself in sites and things that don't make any sense in this world. And we acknowledge that because we're talking about raising Christian children in technology, we also acknowledge that this is a tool that the enemy is using to even recruit children into the dark world. And what can you do as a parent? Hence, we have Richard today who is going to walk us through that and also see how you can take advantage of this thing, because it's not going anywhere, for your betterment. Richard, I always say in about, say 20 years ago, yes, about 20 years ago, I think this is when IT was becoming a thing, graphic design.
True.
Ukipanda kwa matatu unapata kitu kimebandikwa hapo.
Yes.
Graphic design classes.
Yes.
Zile siku za cyber cafe.
Yes.
But now it's come so far. We have AI, we have chat GTP or GPT. Everything is on our fingertips, especially if you have this gadget and you have internet.
True.
There's no way to stop going there.
True.
And the truth is, and this is a fact, I've seen parents who have done something a lot of parents are fond of doing, completely denying their children the opportunity to use the gadgets, which can have an effect that is not very positive.
Yes.
I'm going to use an example with that. It's like parents who are very strict, they tend to raise very good liars. Normally, not all of them, but normally.
True.
And here we are thinking, instead of fighting this thing, learn about it and learn what you can do. And we've seen children stars who have YouTube channels,
yes,
who have shows. I've seen this artist, he's in the secular world, but allow me to to refer him. T.I. He
Yes.
has a little girl called, I think, Majesty, and she does a cooking show.
Yes.
And she's earning her money. She has her brand.
True.
And it's the same thing. Personally, I have done the same thing with my son, my 6-year-old. He has consistently told me, Mommy, I love cooking. I want to be a chef. And when you see a child of that age consistently telling you the same thing for over a certain period of time, then you can tell their minds are made up. Do you wait until they're old enough, then they can become a chef? Why not introduce it now? So that's what I'm doing. I'm building a brand for him. If tomorrow he wakes up, he tells me I want to do something else, I'll still do it. But that's using technology positively.
Yes.
And I know that's how I want us to end the show when we get to the tail of it,
yes,
with the positivity.
Yes.
But now, let's talk about really in reality, how do you now manage screen time? As in terms of age, in terms of mostly age, because you can't have a 1-year-old
yes,
in front of the TV the whole day.
yes.
You know, how do you create that balance?
Okay. When it comes to screen balance, I think there are a lot of disadvantages and also positivities. So I think it is necessary limiting even the screen time for children's engaging with the mind of knowing that there is also the repercussions of positivity in that it can bring a disadvantage also or a disorder to your children when it comes to excessive usage.
Yes.
So I think there is the need of a parent knowing and even limiting the aspect of the screen time.
Yeah.
I will not say there is just the hours that it is not the whole day that will allow your children to engage into screen time. No, a parent must be very ethical in managing it, like balancing it with the real human activities, that by this time is when you are supposed to engage into this and to this. This is when you are supposed to engage in other activities, and this is the time you are supposed to engage also into the digital activities. And through that, you will find that you are balancing your children from what is positive and what is negative.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I do have a little, maybe a hack I use, and I'm taking advantage of it because of their age.
Yes.
So whenever I want screen time out, so of course I have a few rules. When eating, you can't watch.
Yes.
And you can't watch past a certain time. So sometimes you just see them come and they're enjoying themselves and they're comparing notes and you can hear,
Yes.
but then it's almost bedtime. So what I usually ask them is, guys, you know, bedtime is around the corner. How many more minutes do you need? And they will look at each other, and the biggest number they've ever given is 20 minutes. I don't think they've conceptualized
Yes.
like time.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, set an alarm. And exactly when that alarm goes off, without even resisting,
Yes.
they even know where those gadgets go. They go to my room.
Yes.
They go, take them, and we call it a night.
Yes.
Especially, like I said, on weekends and holidays. But hey, it can be tricky sometimes.
True.
And sometimes, you know, there's that guilt that parents feel, and you're like, oh my God, this child has been on the gadget, but then finally you're having some peace of mind, because they become like zombies. They won't even disturb
Yes.
you. But hey, yeah, these kids. Anyway, what are the negatives and the positives of now technology for children?
Okay. Let me start with the positive aspects.
Okay.
Like, from the aspect of positivity, you will find that there is a lot of research our children can engage into.
Yeah.
There is very aspect of broaden erosion that children can engage into different skills. Children can be measured into different skills. They can develop different skills. As I've said, children's engaging into gaming activities, controlling of systems. There is also that children, they are able to build even their identity, even in the digital age. That you will find a child standing and she's saying she wants to be this, she wants to be this.
Yeah.
I think the aspect of the digital technology has built children's identity in a very broadened aspect.
Yes.
Yes, and also that you will find children that they are able even to get interactions. The digital age has really helped us in the aspect of familiarizing with people from different aspects, different cultures, different socio-economic activities. I think very soon I got to interact with a great man of God in Nigeria through the aspect of media.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is that a lot of wide expansion of interactions. Yes. And when it comes to negativity, there is a lot of passion.
Yes.
Yes, that the devil is trying to venture into. There is a lot of negative content that really people are getting to.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think also there is the media. If we will not be able to control how our children manage in our modern day society, we'll find that we have very children who are very emotionally and socially inept.
Detached, yeah.
Yes. So again, parents need to also to be very active in that. Setting instructions, setting communications in that. And lastly, I would say that even in the negative aspect, that we also find that we are developing children who cannot bring the aspect of skills yes, onto their own. Because you will find they are relying on the aspect of the digital skills. They are neglecting the aspect of the other skills, like the normal skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sorry, and I'm assuming you're talking about especially school-going children.
Yes.
Like the way I guess you and I don't assume your
Yes.
your age, but I can tell we went maybe to school around the same time where you had to really work hard, do your research, bring it. Nowadays, anything if it's a project, and trust me, I'm guilty of it.
Yes.
Sometimes you're so tired, and a child has been told to do a certain project,
Yes.
and you just go to type, and you say a project named so and so, for a kindergartner, and it gives you everything like a report, and you copy and paste. But the truth is, I don't feel so bad because I don't use it as a point of you can be using this. It's for me to even remind myself, how do you write, what is the format of a presentation for a kindergartner? But then I can imagine children now who have this access, and you can tell, especially in the Western world, someone gets their homework or their research and they go and they just let the computer do it for them. And the good thing is some professors and lecturers or whatever they call them, they will actually say, 0. You got it from the media. I hear you when you say that. And maybe let me bring another thing I have observed, and this is a conversation I've had on my platforms, technology and kids, and there's an actual disability that is coming with this thing, screen and a child. You see, when a child is watching, they do not interact with that person. That's why you see a lot of younger kids content. There's a lady, I wish I can remember her name. She has a very sultry, soft voice, and she says, hey, my name is so and so, and all the kids, like, there's been a challenge of different parents taking a video of how their kids like encounter, and then she starts with, today we're going to learn how to say mama, and she says mama, and the baby tries to imitate. But majority of the content that is out there is just zombie, like they just watch, and you find 3-4-year-olds who can't even speak. They don't know how to respond.
That is a disadvantage.
You know? And it's so sad because you're thinking your child has a condition, a neurological issue, but the truth is you have to look at the environment and say, but how many hours does this child spend on top of, you can be, you know how it is nowadays. Both parents will leave home, leave their young one to interact, or rather to be taken care of by the help. The help has to do their work, na najua kimweka hapo mbele ya TV hatatoka. You know, it's unfortunate, and also they are losing social skills. But there's hope. I guess once we master this thing and know the way forward. All right, maybe from your works, have you seen some great things that children have done on social media or in the media? Just to encourage parents. I would just tell the parents to allow children to venture into the digital area, not only with the kind of only supervision, but also enabling them to nurture their talents, to nurture their skills. I can say even in the church, in the church platform, I've seen children how they have been able to even evangelize through the media, winning for Christ. And also, again, even children fostering their skills and making it a platform for them to earn something even in their very little age. So I think media engagements can really develop our children's, not only in the aspect of only a humanistic way, but also broadening even in their way they can build their life. And I do agree with you, because I've seen kids with their YouTube channels. My older one is always telling me, Mommy, I want to, actually, I see him recording himself with his, you know, it's mind-blowing because this is not something I witnessed, but I go through his phone and I find, hello, today we're going to make, I don't know, Sonic do what? And then he, of course, it's amateur, childlike, but he tells me, can you please put that for me in my YouTube channel? Can you open for me a YouTube channel? But, you know, I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And I think, again, capturing children's talents early enough and showcasing that to the rest of the world. And I like to call it, media has turned the world into just a global village. Where you can access anything and everything. We've seen people prosper. We've seen people really go so far because of what they're doing on social media. And I've seen so many children also, of course, with the right guidance, and you know, becoming stars in their own right, having their own platform to grow. Can you imagine by the time they are becoming adults, they've done so much for themselves?
Yes.
We've seen artists like Justin Bieber used to just come and do songs, do covers.
Yes.
Look at where he is now. He's a
Yes.
star.
Yes.
He's managed to get what he's had.
Yes.
He has a family now.
Yes.
It's amazing. Maybe we can get a little deeper into something that I don't know how much you know of it,
Yes.
but maybe I'm going to use an example. When we started the conversation, I said that even the enemy is very aware that media
Yes.
is a recruitment place. And I was listening to this lady. She was, how do I put it? She was recruited into the dark world, unfortunately,
Yes.
as a child.
Yes.
And she was only 8 years old.
Yes.
So it's her grandmother, because, you know, with anything, whether you're inheriting the good and the bad, you want somebody to, because you've made that covenant.
True.
Somebody made the covenant, so they don't know how far back the covenant of her becoming a witch became.
Yes.
And they took her soul at age 8. They did the whole, it's a very deep thing, but then she came back to herself when she was 18. So 10 years in it.
It's really.
And she's very aware, but now she's deep into the ministry, exposing the world, the underworld.
Yes.
And she was giving this example of how even desperation sets in, especially for younger people. Nowadays, you know, like especially the youth, there's a lot of idleness. We've seen how they're using these platforms for so much negativity. For instance, you know, Lord, I don't know how to say this without being awkward.
Yes.
But we've seen people creating their own movies.
Yes. Yes.
And putting it on social media.
True.
Not forgetting that it will never be erased.
Yes.
Now back to this other lady. She says there's a young boy, a teenager actually, whose friends had been recruited into one of the many secret societies, and he kept pestering them like, you guys seem to be doing so well, you have money, you have this, how do I do it? And they sent him a link, and he's like, okay, this is he was curious, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna try and join. This is literally just a link into God knows which website, and he enters fake names. It rejects.
Yes.
He tries again, second time, it rejects. Then he uses his real name, and it accepts.
Yes.
And says, welcome to the brotherhood.
Yes.
And it took such a long time for him to be delivered.
True.
And I think it's important to mention these things.
Yes.
And say, hey, shetani hako tu hapo kwa barabara.
Yes.
He knows where to place himself.
Yes.
And he's always here to deceive, to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
And children are a target.
Yes.
Because they're innocent. They have their stars. They have their joy. Oh, mmesikia shosho ameninyanga guka amekuwa recruited. They don't do it.
Yes.
They don't do it.
Yes.
So what is the final word you can tell to parents? And if indeed, where can people find you to hear more about your expertise?
Yes. What I can say and tell parents, they really need to venture into realization of the engagements of what their children are doing in this digital era, their interactions with the social media platforms. They need really to build their open communications, to know what their children they are doing,
Yes.
their engagements, and above all what they are doing. Because nowadays, as you have said, the Satan masquerades himself as an angel of light. So that is usually his work. And as we have said, Satan is not in the marketplace, he's not far, he's within the current what God is moving and what God is doing.
Yeah.
So still he's in our children. And building the wisdom that our children, what they are engaging, will find that we limit the perversion of what Satan is trying to attack to our children.
Yeah.
So I think parents need to have an open communication, instruct their children well in the matters venturing into media platforms, and also have the involvement daily out to know really what is going on. Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Richard, for
Yes.
taking your time to come and
Yes.
talk to us. Keep up the good work.
Yes.
I cannot wait to maybe one day witness your growth in another 5 years, 10 years, when and if God wills for you to have a family.
Yes.
But keep up the good
Thank you.
work. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Yes.
Viewers, I'm sure you have heard, you've seen, and I think there's nothing more I can add to that, because the reality is what we are talking about is real. Look at the gadgets your kids are using. Look at the sites they're visiting. Supervise them. You have that authority as a parent. And better yet, why not direct them to the right place? Because in as much as technology is here, we cannot castigate it and say it's evil, it's bad. Why not understand it and use it for the right reasons? Agreed? All right, I've been your host, Maureen Waititu. Until next time, it's a good night.